Fraud, 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 fraud. Okay. I don't think people realize just how big the fraud is in Minnesota. There's entire developments in the suburbs all around Minnesota since 2020 that have been built purely on fraudulent money and fraudulent business practices. Okay. Now, sadly, a lot of your churches and mosques are involved. There's more churches involved than mosques because they're outnumbered here in America right now. But you wouldn't believe how many churches took the bait. Okay, and it's sad to think that they would need to take this money when God takes care of them, right? Jesus takes care of you. Why would you need to take all this fraudulent money? Okay, I'm just gonna give you an example here. Back in 2001, when 9/11 happened, there was $2 trillion. The Donald Rumsfeld, before the Twin Towers came down, the day before, so on September 10th, he announced that $2 trillion went missing from the United States defense budget. That's our military, okay? And it went to a lot of these churches. We'll call it the Catholic Church because they're the highest of the order, okay? So if you want to start any kind of like church, if you want it to grow big, you have to get an okay from somebody in the Catholicism or Catholic order, okay? So I'm going to give you just one small example here in the Twin Cities, and I'm not trying to pick on them because they were my hometown church. They still are, tried and true. But River Valley Church, they were started around the same time the first World Trade Center bombing happened in 1993, and then 2001, when all of this money was started to be siphoned out of the United States defense budget, okay? And not many people can believe this, okay? But the church was kind of like bankrupt. And why was that? They needed to get their hands on some money and fast. And why did they need that? Well, they were paying out lots and lots of money to young boys who were, sexually abused and molested by people in the Catholic Church, the Catholic clergy. And it was not just the clergy, it was top to bottom. Men in the Catholic Church, they had their way with young boys. And that was their thing. Maybe it still is. But they had to pay out record amounts of settlements to these young children, okay? And that's what kind of helped. They were in like the red. They were about to go bankrupt. So then again, the 1993 World Trade Center, the first bombing happened, like a test run. And then 2001, okay, the War on Terror. And these Catholic churches, they started all these different shell companies that siphoned off not only the $2 trillion from the defense budget, but once the war started, they raked in the dough, okay? So it's hard for people to believe this, especially in the Catholic Church, because you think it's good, right? Okay? But sadly, they've done a lot of bad in the world. I mean, they were the sole cause. Like people like Magic Johnson, okay? He got HIV. That wasn't from having sex with a lot of girls. And Magic's a very, you should see him and his wife. They're very on the straight and narrow. He didn't go, have sex with a lot of girls. He went to a Catholic high school and a Catholic middle school when he was a kid. And they said, if you ever talk about this stuff, right, we'll make sure your career's ended. So that's why Magic was never allowed to talk about what really happened to him as a boy. And a lot of young boys were not. Okay, so that's why Magic rose to and again, he was a great basketball player, but he was never allowed to even tell the truth about what happened to him when he was a boy, right? Because that's who started the AIDS epidemic in the United States, was the Catholic Church. It wasn't gay guys having whatever they called it. There wasn't enough gay guys in the world that start this AIDS epidemic. It all came down from the Catholic Church. That's how the AIDS epidemic started. Older men having sex with younger boys, which is very sinister and sad to even think about, okay? But that's who started the AIDS epidemic. And not many people want to, admit that, especially the Catholic Church. It's a big no-no. You're never supposed to talk about it. But that's what the whole cover, they blamed blacks, gays, and Jews for the AIDS epidemic when it was the Catholic Church that started it, 1980s, 1990s. So they had to pay out massive sums of money for all these young boys that contracted AIDS and, grew up, If you wondered why so many people did turn gay in the 90s, it was because of that. We call it the third order, the laymen, okay, of the Catholic Church. It's like the third level. It's like common folk, feeble-minded people. It's the Epstein list, whatever you want to call it. And that's what the Epstein list is. And then when you think of Catholic Church, you got to think of the entire Christian church in itself. All 40,000 denominations. Just Google pastor arrested, okay, for you know what, and you're going to find this endless list of people inside churches that, that's why they go to churches and help run churches, is to, there's predators and then there's people that pray, okay. And I'll finish on this. There's one book you should read if you want to find out what it's really about. A Catholic clergyman wrote it. His name's Alexander Hislop. It's a good read, okay? It's called The Two Babylons. And a Catholic clergyman himself, they tell you what they think of it and what they worship compared to what the common people in society worship, especially the women. They think it's all, So you should read that book, and you would just need to go to the very last chapter, and he'll tell you what it's really about, okay? Love you. Have a great day.